Hi, welcome to Creative Manifestation. Today I wanted to talk about how you can use the same steps that you would use to create a piece of artwork or some type of creative thing. It doesn't have to be art if you're not an artist, but it could be, a dinner you're making or something that you're creating that comes easily to you. So the idea is that to tap into how when you're creating, the same steps are true for manifestation of anything else you might want to bring into your reality, but maybe you don't feel that you can. And this video today is to give you a step by step process how something is created, for example, a piece of artwork, and how you can use that information to create anything in your reality. So, the first thing is the idea of what you want to create comes into your imagination, into your mind. That's the first thing that comes up. So, say you want to create a meal, you get an idea, what do you feel like? How do what are you into today? And that idea comes to your mind. So then you would, if you have blocks to the creative idea coming into your mind, then you can draw on experiences that you've had in life that inspired you. So you are drawn to into these experiences, like say you go somewhere. Now I'm going to use an example in my own life of this based on this piece of artwork behind me. I My husband and I went to Montana many years in a row to vacation. And we would go to these old ghost towns and explore like in the backwoods and find these really cool old ghost towns where they were normally like silver and gold mining towns. And I was so inspired by visiting these places because I thought of who were these people that found these remote locations to mine. I mean, they had none of our current technology, and they found these towns out in the middle of nowhere to go mining. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, these were the pioneering people of our time, and they discovered these places that are out in the middle of nowhere, and made towns and made like a life for themselves there. And it just really like inspired me. So what happened was we would go to these antique shops, and I would find old photographs of people that were just thrown in a box, but they were at one time alive, and they were someone's family member, and they had a persona and a life. And so I thought, who are these people that are thrown in this box? So I started going on like a hunt, like obsessively, to find these photos of people that spoke to me, like certain photos that really spoke to me that I could create a piece of artwork around. And that's what this painting is in the background. I did a series called Portraits of the Forgotten where I would find these old photographs and make maybe who they might have been. Um, and so that's what I mean by getting the downloads of information and inspiration to create something. So this tool could be used for any type of creation, for any manifestation. It doesn't have to just be art. It could be a business. It could be anything. So it's tapping into the creativity of that experience, the feeling of the experience, and what you got from the experience, that you tap into for the inspiration if you're struggling to find inspiration. So then, number two is start creating a picture in your mind of how this can come together and integrate into one cohesive vision. So that's kind of like the example of this painting. I thought of, well, I'm going to find the old photographs, and I'm going to then collect the collage materials like the photos and the old newspaper clippings and things like that, and create the persona of who this person might have been. That was me putting together the cohesive vision for the paintings. use your imagination to put the pieces together in your mind, or you can use visual tools such as collages or Photoshop. So if you're having a difficult time putting the things together, you can start collaging the ideas or doing a Photoshop like app on your phone, to create the vision, the full vision of what you want to achieve. Number 3, decide on the materials you will need to achieve the vision of what you want. If you don't know, do research on how to do it. So if you don't know how to make it come together, say you want to create a business and you don't know how to make that happen, then you just do research and dive into the process of how this would be created. Find mentors online or in books doing what you want to do and gather materials. So that's the kind of 3D aspect of manifestation that I feel like a lot of, people maybe don't talk about or kind of goes under the radar. And really, it's extremely important because just believing and dreaming and putting together a collage isn't going to make it happen for you. So you need to take action in the 3-dimensional reality to make it happen. And this is the step in which you find the materials, you gather the materials, and you learn the steps. Then you take action on your vision and start creating. Even if you experience bumps in the creating process, you can pivot and change. Sometimes those mistakes actually can make the piece more interesting or add something unexpected and much cooler to the project. So this was a thing that I really loved the concept of, because sometimes, like when you're creating a piece of art, for example, you can make a mistake, or you might call it a mistake, or it's not going the direction that you want it to go. So then you can always paint over it and even keep pieces of it coming through to where it actually makes the piece more interesting. So this can be applied to any manifestation because you're gaining knowledge of something where you may have pivoted off of your vision, or maybe you went down the line of the vision, but something changed in the process, and then you were like, "Ooh, I don't like where this is going, so I need to shift it and create something different." And that's totally fine, and it's going to happen, and that's part of it. But the thing is keeping your vision alive and not falling off because you got swayed into a direction maybe that you weren't liking the way it was going. And then you decided to change it and say, "Hey, I want to go in this direction." And that can happen, with anything. So like art is one of those things that is a perfect example of that, because you don't have to keep that vision going in that direction. If you don't like it, you can change it easily. And why can't we do the same thing with our own manifestations in the 3D reality, whatever they are? And we totally can. It's just sometimes we get stuck in thinking this isn't working out, when in fact you're getting the contrast, as Abraham Hicks says, of something you maybe just don't like, and you need to just shift it to something in the direction that feels more authentic to you. So then when you have decided your piece or project or vision is complete, then you put it out into the world. Sometimes you have to do this over and over again. And in order to get it into the right hands, the person who absolutely falls in love with it and it speaks to them, this may take time, but be patient and keep going. Eventually, someone will have to have it. So this is very true with artwork, and another way to correlate manifestation and artwork, because I've created pieces before that I literally had for years, and I thought, this is going nowhere. No one's buying this. Like, it's old news to me because I'm usually on to like the next creative thing. But eventually it speaks to someone. This happened to me with a series of flower paintings I did that I had for several years. And I was like, I thought these were going to fly, you know? And then eventually one day I had a show and literally someone bought two, and then the next show someone bought the rest, and I was like, oh my gosh, there they go, like here they're selling. So this is kind of like this concept is just because you're putting it out and it may not be getting the reception that you want at the moment, then it eventually will find its home. And so this is what you have to be persistent with in manifestation. That if you're true to your vision and you're going with the flow, putting things out there, eventually they're going to find their home and it's going to speak to someone. And you have to have faith that it's going to work out. And in the meantime, while that might be on the burner, you could be doing something else and producing and coming up with new creative ideas. So that was my 5 top tips for how art and manifesting are similar and how you can use the same steps in creating art as you can in manifesting any vision you have. If you like this content, please like and subscribe.